I was nervous, man. I was tripping. The first time that I had the makeup on, I started to play with sounds and words and noises.
Wow, that is so cool.
Part of it was not wanting to let my big monster brothers down either. They had all showed up to help. I was blown away by the response.
Make a wish.
Whoa! You're a fucking genie!
If I was fortunate enough to come back as the Djinn, if there were a number 5, I can't wait to see what that monster will look like. The Wishmaster belongs to the fans. Period.
Mr. Andrew, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. You're an absolute legend, an icon, the Wishmaster himself. Dude, I think you're really half Djinn in real life, man. You don't age, but the people that I've been talking to recently, I mean, there's just, you look the same, man. What's going on?
That's very kind. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, recently, so I've pretty much worked out, let's just say the second half of my life. I'm happy to be an elder now. I really am, and I'm embracing the work that comes to me as an elder. July 2nd, I turned 71, so I'm feeling good. And for over half of my life, I would say, starting at the age of 30, I started concentrating on working out, and recently I've really sort of concentrated on specific workouts, in particular picking up the kettlebell, which I can do at home. I can do it in 20, 30 minutes. And then eating clean. It can be kind of boring, but it is clean. It allows me, let's put it this way, when I am able to socialize with my friends, my eating clean at home allows me to maybe splurge a little when I'm out and about, and that may include, a glass of wine, or a non-grain beer. So go figure this, brother. I had a brewery. And I say had because my partner and I, we had to sell the building. I still have the trademark, I still have the recipes and all of that, but go figure. So I think as a result of brewing, I became celiac. I was inhaling the grain that I was milling to produce the beer and being on site, and so I became hyperuricemic. My biggest addiction was sugar. And of course, alcohol, as we know, turns into sugar anyway. So I had to get rid of that. So after we finish up here tonight, I'm gonna scramble up 3 eggs. I'm gonna throw some walnuts in it, very very high omega. Throw some walnuts in it. I'll cut half of an avocado and put it in there. Open a can of wild caught tuna, throw that in there as well. Mix it up, and then throw some Greek yogurt on it, and you know what? I've come to really really love it. I guess I've convinced myself that it's damn delicious.
That's awesome, man. Well, congratulations. I mean, it's a lifestyle, right? I've definitely had to learn that the hard way, and I didn't even start my health journey till I was in my late 30s. And I mean, it's just, I get it, man. I understand it, and I enjoy it. And again, man, props to you, man. That's awesome.
Do I know you guys?
My introduction to you was in Another 48 Hours. I mean, awesome movie, awesome times. And my dad was a big action guy, big Eddie Murphy fan. And so, I wasn't allowed to watch, certain movies growing up, especially horror movies. So I was late to the horror genre. But my dad, big Eddie fan. So, he did let me watch, a few movies here and there. And I mean, it was my introduction to you, just as an actor. Presence, man. You definitely, that's a superpower that you have. And you hear me say presence a lot on my channel because everyone, that I feature, that I talk to, I mean, has that presence. I mean, I just feel like you come from such a magical time. Villain or hero, I was always looking for that presence. I was always studying, trying to learn as much as I could, and hoping that one day, I could be an actor. And so, I mean, for you, as an actor, at that time, I mean, what was the project for you, or where was your introduction as far as, the Andrew dream? When did you realize that, acting was going to be forever?
Well, you mentioned it. Another 48 Hours was really where I kind of realized, wow, man. I walked on the set the first day, now sharing with you that So we started filming December 4 of 1989. On December 1 of 1989, my mom passed away,
Oh man, I'm
and
really sorry.
was with her as she passed. And so I was fortunate enough to be there. I remember, we were out in Beaumont, in Dumont Dunes, and what a beautifully desolate and spectacular place that was to be. And I mean, got there early in the morning as the sun was rising over these dunes. I spoke with the assistant director, and I said, "How much time we got before we, get rolling?" And mind you, I was nervous, man. I was tripping, but I said, I'm going to take a walk, and so I just kind of there was this kind of not really a road, but a wash, that kind of went through the dunes. So I took a walk, and just to kind of just to ground myself. And I realized on that walk how fortunate I was to be in this place. And looking at, I mean, we built that bar in the desert was built by the studio. So I took my walk and came back and was oddly refreshed and really feeling excited about what was to come. Man, it was such a beautiful day, and a beautiful day of work, and just things clicked. And mind you, 6 months before we rolled our first scene, we were given motorcycles, the bad guys, and by Paramount, and they said, go ahead and take these, and when you come back in 6 months, when we're ready to film, you'll look like you've been living on it. And I made it my sole mode of transportation, and I remember getting around town, and that was before the helmet law too. So it was quite turn of the wheel, sort of the snake biting its tail, to now be on the set, having ridden through that squirrely sand to get to the spot. Just the beautiful lighting, the sort of I don't know, almost a sepia darkness to the set. The beautiful mist that then dissipated, but then the sort of the desert dust took over, and just made it ethereal, made it beautiful.
Dude, that's epic, man. Wow. When the movie came out, I mean, because you were everywhere in the 90s, man. That's what I remember. I mean, there was another 48 Hours. Toy Soldiers came out, what, the year after that? Then, I mean, just so much stuff. I mean, you had a Wishmaster, obviously, Air Force One. I mean, I remember seeing you everywhere. And I didn't always get to see the movies as they came out. But I remembered your face. I remembered you. And I saw all these different characters. At that time, I mean, were things already crazy, or did another 48 Hours kind of catapult, your career at that point?
I'm not sure. I think my trajectory has been a little more, not so much shooting, but sort of evolving. Not as bad as plotting, but it has moved steadily, surely, but very sort of under the radar, if you will. When people saw me in Toy Soldiers, the immediate commentary was, "Wow, he's a wonderful actor, but he's not going to really do a whole lot with that accent."
It wouldn't have happened if the American government hadn't kidnapped my father!
They're gonna hunt you down, you know that, don't you? And then they will kill you.
You Americans always say that, but you never actually do it.
So when my agent told me that's the sort of feedback that they had gotten, I thought, wow, okay, well that's good, and kind of not good, but it's good. And so I took it as good. And so again, the trajectory has been a little more sure, but steady. You know what I mean? Steady, and not a shooting star kind of a thing.
You were already a legend to me. I mean, I'm seeing you in all these different films, all these different characters, and you were completely different in every one. I mean, even talking to you now, I mean, it's like I'm talking to a completely different person, man. So again, a super talented dude. I mean, you're a legend. And when I finally watched, Wishmaster for the first time, again, I was late to the horror genre, wasn't allowed. So when I finally got around to the horror genre, I was just watching everything back to back. I was soaking up every movie that I could, and I was fascinated by all the different, concepts. I couldn't believe that, things like that were being made. And so I was fascinated, of course, by the Djinn himself, the character, the makeup, the costume. But I was even more inspired by the character, when you're in Nathaniel form. To me, that is my favorite Andrew, performance, ever. I mean, you as Nathaniel, man, I love it, man. The timing, the presence that you have as that character. And, of course, I love the first one, but the second one is actually my favorite. That's the one that I watch all the time because I felt like that one was more Nathaniel. I felt like Nathaniel was just having fun in that one, and it was awesome, dude. So, I mean, take us back to the first one. I mean, how did you get the role? I mean, did you know what you were getting into, or was it random?
Well, of course, nervous. Norton, always. I remember we did read more Nathaniel. We sort of delved into the genie. I got to meet Robert Kurtzman, and at that time had absolutely no idea what really the voice of this genie, this being would be. Now the first scene that we shot was Nathaniel in the store with the young lady who becomes the mannequin.
I wish to be beautiful forever.
Pleasure doing business with you.
But the first time shooting the Djinn, the first time that I had the makeup on, Robert, came and checked it out, was kind of looking at me, and saying, "Okay, we're good to go with this." And he said, why don't you go into your trailer and sit in front of the mirror and turn the lights down and just basically just look at yourself, look at this creation, beautiful creation that K&B Effects had come up with. Speaking of sugar, I was a fiend for jelly beans, and so I was popping jelly beans, and I noticed that so jelly beans are made with whey. Because of that, I suppose that milky sort of phlegm formed in my throat, and I didn't clear it. And so I noticed that by not clearing my throat, that sort of voice started to come about, and so I started to play with sounds and words and noises.
Wow, that is so cool.
I wanted to make the end of the words. If I can give you an image, it's the very accent on the end of the word is a rattlesnake rather shaking its tail, and so it finishes with that little sort of accent. So we played around a little more, and I came out and was lucky enough to do that scene with Buck Flowers and Reggie Bannister inside the pharmacy. And it's one of my favorite quotes. I won't do the whole thing for you, but it's at the point where Buck sees who he's made the deal with, and he starts running, and I take the cigarette out and I say, "Rotten insect." And how beautiful it was that night to work with Buck, and with Reggie, and going through a bit of a tough time now. And if I may say, there's a GoFundMe out there for Reggie right now to help out with his hospice. And so if we can keep an eye on that, that would be beautiful. But I remember after my first full day in Djinn makeup, we broke for lunch, and it was my first time sitting down, if you can imagine, with all this 60 pounds of gear on me and trying to now mind you, the mask, I mean, it's evolved. The techniques and the technology has evolved a lot to this day, where you can articulate quite a lot more. But then it was almost like rubber bands, holding the jaw, so you really had to exaggerate to get a certain gesture across. Well, let me tell you, to get a fork in my mouth with food on it, I had to exaggerate even more. And then, the most embarrassing thing was then going into makeup and having them say, "Oh, well, there's some food we need to pick out from between the mask and your face." And I'm thinking, yeah, man, no, this ain't gonna happen again. So I would come in the morning, and I would order a big old plate of huevos rancheros, man. And I probably had about 2.5 pounds of that, and I would scoop it up, eat it. And then we'd start with the makeup and get the day on. And then I would continue my nutrition with protein shakes. And so again, here goes with the whey and so forth. And that was so much more immediate than those jelly beans. And oh man, it was so perfect and beautiful. And so I know Robert Kurtzman and I were smiling about that, and then, thank goodness for the protein shakes.
That's awesome, man. And what was it like working with Tammy?
We got along beautifully, especially out of the all of the before we even started filming, we were, and we still are, Tammy Lauren, we still are friends. She's a beautiful person. Always happy when I get to see her, as is Holly Fields from Two, another beautiful person. Always happy when I'm able to spend time with both or either of them, and I've been able to do so at a couple of conventions, and so knock on wood, that keeps happening. And of course, oh well.
Love Holly. She's amazing. And her and Tammy both are just so very talented. And I'm going to try to get them on the show, actually. And I mean, just all of you guys just rocked it out. And not only that, you had cameos from other horror icons. It was the first time I had ever seen that, in a movie. And so, I mean, you had Robert, Kane, Tony. I mean, what was that like? Were you nervous? What was what was the pressure like on that set, man?
There was a bit of intimidation on my part, not of them or because of them, but because I had not done this prosthetic work before, and I was really, really worried. And I part of it was not wanting to let my big monster brothers down either. They had all showed up to help, and to help establish a new monster on the block, if you will. And I'll forever be grateful to all of them for that. We did a photograph, and I guess I could say that for a moment the photographer forgot that his art is being a photographer, and then tried to step over into, I don't know, Scoopville, trying to get a story, and says, okay, so if there was a fight between the monsters, and the beautiful thing, right before he even finished the sentence, and I love Tony for this, Tony pipes, no, we're not going there, man. We're not going to do that. And so I kind of like, whoa, and it set the tone for me. It made me realize, no, that's has nothing to do with what we're doing here. And so that was a beautiful moment, because as the new kid on the block, and the cocky little bastard that I was, I suppose at that time, I was going to say, well, but before I got to that point, Tony stepped up, and I thought to myself, thank you for the lesson, brother. Thank you for the lesson. Rest in peace, Brother Tony.
God, that's amazing, man. Awesome times, dude. The 90s, right? I mean, and so what was it like when you saw the movie for the first time? Again, this is the 90s. There was internet, but it really wasn't, what it is today, right? So, I mean, what was the response like for you?
I was blown away by the response, and in reference, firstly, to your commentary about, there wasn't really a lot of online stuff at that point. As a matter of fact, and as a sort of proof of that, in Wishmaster 2, there's a moment where Holly, where the young heroine Morgana is. So we lost a day because I don't know, maybe we went over. I can't remember why, but we lost our day at the library. She was going to go to the library and do some research. And Jack came and told me, he said, well, we're going to have to rearrange and do this. And I go, Jack, man, you've got a set here. You've got a beautiful set. You have Morgana's room, her bedroom. He said, pull out, let her look all of this crap up on the computer. And he goes, the computer? I go, yeah, man, internet. And believe me, I was ignorant about it. I didn't know a damn thing about it. I click what? No, so but I did understand that this was a place that had all of that knowledge at your fingertips, literally. And so that's how that bunch of research became internet research, as opposed to flipping pages in a library.
Very cool. I love everything about the second one. Again, man, it's all Nathaniel. My favorite scene in 2 is the jail scene when Nathaniel first gets arrested, and you have that guy that wishes to he wants to go through the bars.
You're a powerful man. I'm giving you the chance to wish for anything you like, anything in the world.
Whoa! You're a fucking genie!
Man, I mean, is the guy, even the actor, I mean, he was hilarious. I mean, he was funny, and the contrast, obviously he's over the top, and you're just, being Nathaniel, and I thought that was just awesome, right? And it's funny, and then of course, he makes his wish, and then it turned into the most one of the most disturbing scenes I'd ever seen, in a movie, especially at that time. And I just thought it was insane.
With some amazing special effects. So obviously I was there, but in the close-ups when they're actually doing the forcing it through that was a solo shot. And I remember being on the other side of that, watching that happen and tripping out and saying, "Wow, man, wow, how how amazing!" Because I mean, when it comes to the when that face and that head and that body come up to those bars, it was all intact, and then it starts to, split up and then come through, and oh, wow, man, it's like, I don't know, a weird version of, I guess, slicing bread, right?
Yeah, man. Especially when his back kind of like snaps inward. God, it was crazy stuff, man. But it was fun, and or the scene right before that when the cop is interrogating you, and again you're being Nathaniel, and the cop is getting frustrated. And again, just that contrast. I just thought that was it was a lot of fun, man. A lot of fun. And production-wise, I love the lighting. I love the color, especially when Morgana's in the church. Love all those shots, and this is awesome stuff, man. And I mean, you mentioned your favorite scenes in 1, but what about 2? What's your favorite scene?
That scene where we end up dancing, quote unquote. I remember it to this day, and I remember Tiny. He was so wonderful, and he came to me, and I saw him at a couple of conventions afterward, and always wanted to get up and get my Tiny hug, man. Such a beautiful human being. Um, I remember him saying to me, "Andrew, I want you to know, man, I don't bitch out for nobody, but I'm gonna bitch out for you." And to this day, that means a whole lot. And the fact that he went with it, he rolled with it. He said, "Now is it going to be cool? I'm gonna throw you. I'm gonna treat you bad." And I said, "Go for it, brother Tiny. Go for it." And so you can see that he's throwing me into that fence, and I just kind of kept that weird smile going. And behind that weird smile was, I wonder how much more this is going to happen now. But I remember it. I remember it fondly.
So what happened after 2, if you don't mind sharing? I mean, because of course we heard rumors, at the time, and I heard, respectfully, that it was more of a business, more of a negotiating, type thing that you guys just couldn't work out. I mean, do you mind sharing? I mean, what really happened?
I think that's a very fair way to put it. And I so these 30 years on have allowed me. At first, I had a bit of having been rubbed the wrong way about it. Um, but these 30 years hence, I've mellowed out a lot, and I've come to understand one thing. Um, the Djinn and Nathaniel, the Wishmaster story belongs to none of us, not even to Peter Atkins, the wonderful writer, or to Jack Shoulder. It belongs to the fans. It's the fans. Yes, it was big. Which I thought should be the natural evolution of the monster, to become bigger, to give more of a doffing of the cap, if you will, to the fans. Say, this is for you. This is because you have brought us to this stage, literally to this point. And so, yeah, I can understand that the fans were a little disappointed. Having said that, 3 and 4 have added to the lore, and so again, I think I'm a lot more at peace with it now, and I have to understand that first and foremost, as I've said, the Wishmaster belongs to the fans. Period. I think I'm probably misquoting it. I think the Djinn in 2 says,
"Is that the best you got? I spent 3,000 years one time in a hole."
so 3,000 years, 30 years is not quite 3,000, but it's been a long time, and I think it's time for another.
We definitely need it, my friend. I mean, that's my wish to the Wishmaster. Part 5. Can you please make it happen? It would be amazing, man. And, as a fan, or as fans, we have our favorite characters and scenes and all that kind of stuff, and I'm sharing, that with you now. But, for you, for Andrew, as the actor, as the man, when you look back at your career, is there a role, character that stands out more to you, today?
Well, There are two that stand out, and of course, by saying that there are two, I don't mean to diminish or downplay any of the other roles. I love all of the other roles that we've had a chance to talk about. Toy Soldiers is one of those for a special reason. Um, Patchy, as I call them, Mikhail Bakunin in Lost is another. That was so magical to be in a magical place, and with such a marvelous cast who accepted me. This was I came in the third season. They had already established this wonderful sort of mystical mythology. It was beautiful to then come in and be a part of that. Um, Toy Soldiers for quite another reason. My so obviously my mom wouldn't have had a chance to really see any of my work, unfortunately. Um, my father was I remember inviting him to the premiere of Toy Soldiers. And I remember after the movie was shown, it was shown at the Directors Guild, and everyone, and I mean everyone, was there to see the movie. Um, Daniel Petrie, the writer and director, had a lot of friends there, a lot of people supporting him, and when I came out of the theater, I stayed for the applause, and I stayed for a little bit, and sort of was patted and said, "Wow, wonderful work." And I remember going outside. I turned around and I didn't see my dad, and so when I walked out of this dark theater into the light, I'm looking for him, and then I spot him, and the look on his face said everything. It was like it was amazing, and sort of that's the moment that I understood how important a character can be. I mean, this is his son, but for him, and everything after that, even so he was on several sets with me after that, and he would always say, "Well, you did wonderfully in that, but it was no Toy Soldiers." And that was his retort to when I would do new work and sort of present it to him or bring him to a premiere. So of course, I was very happy to see uh, that transition, the face, as I say, the look when I spotted him. Oh, and that look that he had, just it said everything.
Ah, man, so amazing. Awesome times. Congrats again. And I mean, did you ever think that these characters, these films, your work would be impacting us, all these years? And now you're out there rocking the cons, or you've been rocking the cons. I mean, did you ever think that that was going to be a thing?
No, I never thought that, and never imagined it, and my eyes were opened. Actually, it was Robert Englund who told me, you're going to be out and about, and you're going to be doing cons, and I said, I'm going to be doing what? It was mind blowing to me, and I'm so fortunate to be doing that and to be asked to do that. I just came across a big old flat of OG posters that Artisan at the time was kind enough to send me, so that I could, sign them and at conventions. And so I'm always happy to bring new stuff. And so I've also I created Wishmaster rings. I sort of a 3D ring that I created. This one here is the OG artist's proof, and as I said, it goes around 3D all the way in the back. And I like to tell people. So it was my first time carving in jeweler's wax, and you can see by this corner here that I wasn't too sure. So I went right in. I cut a block of it out, and I went right in from the corner, and began with the sort of tentacle. And then there's a version, a rhodium plated version that I did with the Djinn's stone. That again is 360, made from the same mold. So I do these special order now. I like to share, and so if there were a five, um, I would be doing a new sculpture. I would be carving a new one out. And boy, if I was fortunate enough to come back as the Djinn, if there were a number five, I can't wait to see what that monster will look like. We know what the Demarest monster will look like, sort of. Um, but man, I'm just, and I'm coming up. I'm doing a little bit of sketching and drawing on my own to, to come up with some ideas, but always defer to the artists that are the special effects makeup, the people, and it would be wonderful if K and B could come back in that capacity.
This has been so epic, man. Legendary. Mr. Andrew, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Super congrats on all your incredible work, talent, and success. Go enjoy those eggs, man. And if you need to upgrade to some Huevos Rancheros today to get some Wish 5 inspiration, hey, man, no judgment here.
I will. Thank you, bro.
Guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments what your favorite Andrew movie or character is, and so many classics that we all got to rewatch. And Wishmaster 5, I mean, it would be epic. Thank you for watching. Thank you for believing, and we'll see you soon. Cheers.